G'day, mate. What's your name?
My name's Cam Knight.
Cam Knight. What do you do, Cam?
Anything that pays the bills, Andrew, you know that.
That's the most honest answer I think I've ever got. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Crowdworkcast. My name's Andrew Barnett. Thanks so much for joining me. Today's episode is Cam Knight. I've known Cam for a fair few years now through the comedy scene. He's a stand-up, he's an actor, he is a host, he is a multi-hyphenate talented dude. It was really good of him to come out and sit down and do the podcast. And this was a really fun chat. I learnt quite a bit about his early days in Adelaide. You're going to hear all about that. It's great. So if you enjoy Cam, do check him out on socials. He is I am Cam Knight on Facebook. On Instagram and TikTok. Cam Knight Comedy on Facebook. Check out. He's got a series on there called Botlo, which he's done with Luke Heggie, which is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, definitely check it out. There's more of that to come. So And if you do have, as we put a shout out at the end, if you do have access to a bottle shop that he can use to film the next season reach out to him and let him know. If you're enjoying the podcast, please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and give me a follow. I am Andrew Barnett Comedy on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Other than that, for now, that'll do. Just enjoy this. This is my episode with Cam Knight. Anything that pays the bills. That's a proper show business answer.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't like, but like if you put, when you have to say what your profession is when you're going overseas or something or whatever, like I never put comedian.
What do you put?
Entertainer.
I've done that
But
too.
it's a bit vague, you know what I mean?
That's because comedian, you're getting a question from the customs person.
Yeah.
But entertainer, you're like, oh, this could be even more probing.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
Could be anything. I could be a juggler.
I've had that,
You know what I mean?
landing in New Zealand to go do. I was going to meet a cruise ship and I just put entertainer and then just got grilled by the guys. So, what sort of entertainer are you, mate?
Yeah.
He was all excited to be, and he was just having fun with me. I said, oh, I'm a comedian.
I think it'd be better if you then shocked him by saying stripper and then he'd leave it at that.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to ask you for a little tidbit. Whereas with a comedian, they'll ask for a joke. They're not going to ask for a bit of nipple if you say you're a stripper.
Show us the package, mate.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, stripper.
Then they'll leave you be.
Putting that on the forms. So how long, you're obviously stand-up comedian, but you're actor, you've done all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had a non-entertainment job?
2010 or so, I think.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a bit rough. I went in and it was funny because I was saving up for our wedding. We needed a little bit of extra cash, and I'd heard that a bunch of people that I knew had taken this job. This telesales job.
Oh, is this the wine sales?
Yeah, the wine thing. So heaps of comics and there's lots of actors. And it's kind of cool in the sense that, we're all similar people, but you see people who have been on a big show on TV and they're there with a headset on selling wine and you just go, oh God, this industry sucks. Yeah. That we have to do this. Do you know what I mean?
There's really no security.
Yeah, there was none.
Yeah.
So, and you just go, God damn it, you just were on that show like last year or this year, and then now you're in here that didn't pay enough for you to stay out and get out of it, you know what I mean?
You're on the phone trying to convince people with real jobs to spend some money on wine.
To spend money on wine, and then in your lunchtime break just drinking as much of it as possible, just to forget that you were there. You know?
I remember that phase, because there was a bunch of comedians, and all of a sudden there was a bunch of comedians that got into wine.
Yeah, because of that. They upgraded from just enjoying goon, and they went, actually, I don't mind a bit of tannins.
Mate, that was it. I remember sitting here in Chris Wainhouse and Ray Badger talking about
Ray
wine.
was in there when I was in there too. Yeah.
Like, oh man, this is
This is not what I expected.
Yeah,
boy.
there's some big names in there. It was
Yeah.
funny. You just go, holy shit, this is where we all go. It felt like a rite of passage, you know. All right, well, I'll get through this and off I go.
I think we're probably coming up on another era of that. I reckon we're going into a patch maybe of comedians all getting second jobs again.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know, like I don't know. I just had a feeling, like just talking to a few people in the lead up to Christmas, going, oh, geez, not as many corporates have been around as before, and
Yeah, the Christmas this year isn't as busy in December but I had a really busy mid-year and back like close, like even just a few months ago. It was massive, and I went, oh, okay, great.
That's what I think, because there's a few people who have said, oh, just quiet coming into Christmas. But then I was thinking the same thing. It was like, oh, I think what happened was a bunch of because COVID messed up the timing of everything. I think a bunch of the things that would normally be end of year, they did them mid-year. And then went, oh, we'd only just had an event a month or two ago. We don't need to have another big thing.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
At the moment.
I feel like you've just got me on this podcast to say, are you feeling it this month as well too? Is it just me?
No,
Did I do something wrong?
It's literally just, it was actually just the conversation that came up about 3 times over the weekend with different people. And I was like, oh, because I've been pretty lucky. I picked up a couple of corporates, but late. So it was you know, sort of last minute sort of stuff. Yeah. So it worked out fine for me, but it was...
it all evens out.
That's what I reckon.
You know, and if you just got to remind yourself of that if you don't have this, then this is here. And it does sort of work itself out okay. And so then you enjoy that quiet time or whatever. I'm all right with it because I kind of, like I said, I've had a bonkers year. And I don't mind that I think I'm going to go and see my family on the 19th of December. I would never normally leave Sydney then, you know? And I just went, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. That's my year.
Is this family back in South Australia?
Yeah. So I'll go back, and I haven't been back to Adelaide to see them for years. They've come over here, but it's the first time when I went, yeah, let's go. Let's get out. That's my year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's okay to do that.
I think probably this far in, knowing, like you said, just knowing, okay, it all evens out.
It does.
When you got a quiet period, instead of panicking, just enjoy the quiet period, because when the busy period comes around, you'll wish you enjoyed the quiet period.
Exactly, and I do. Like, I just go to ground. I just stay and just reset in my house and read and do whatever and just go, it's all right, just have a little mini break and it's cool. When I used to really worry about it, I used to just always constantly going, what's next? And it was Heggy, actually. We were having a conversation about it a few years ago, and he sort of changed my mindset because he just went, mate, we've already won. And I went, what do you mean? And he said, you pay your bills, you feed your kids, you feed yourself, you know, with comedy. Yeah. You don't have another job. What more do you want? How much do you want or need or whatever? And it's a really grounding thing to be told that. You go, yeah, broke the system. And the only thing is, it's like, I'm not selling wine. Yeah. So it's cool. It's all right. So if you've got that bumper amount coming in and you can sit off that for a little bit and coast and it's a bit quiet here, well, that's all right. Like, it'll pick back up and, you know, swings and roundabouts, man.
That's a great way to look at it too. It's like that mindset of, like, if on your first day, when you first went to an open mic, you got told that there'd be a stage where this was your year. These are all the things you did and this is how you didn't need another job. Yeah. Would you have taken it?
Oh, like, it depends. What do you mean? Like, how long it takes to get to that point?
No. I mean, like, if you know, when you go, this idea of making it or whatever. If on your first day in comedy, like the first time you got up, someone said one day you'd have this year that you had this year where you you paid all your bills, you did all that stuff, you gigged and you paid everything just by telling jokes. Would you have taken it on that day?
The job?
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we go, oh man, I'm not doing well enough. And then you're looking back and go, well, the guy that started this would be pretty happy with it.
I didn't think I was even going to make a living off this.
No.
When you start out, you just go, this is crazy. Like, this is just fun and you're sort of wrapped up in it. But also, when I started as well, it felt a bit more chaotic and loose and, I don't know, for want of a better phrase, rock and roll. You didn't go into comedy going, what's my brand? Yeah. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to get placed? Am I a radio person? Am I a TV person? Am I a writer? you just say, I just want to do this because it's fun and just see where this goes. Because to me, like, it was absurd to me in the first place. Like, from where I came from, I didn't even think that, I thought only, I just thought people from overseas were capable of making it more in comedy than here, because I didn't have much access to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you grew up country, South
Country,
Australia, didn't you?
yeah, less than 1,000 people country.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you can walk around the town in half an hour.
So not many open mics to get
Just the pub and out in the gutter when the pub shuts, basically. That's where all the comedy goes down, or the footy change rooms or something. But yeah, there was no comedy there, man. Like, nothing.
And so, your first move from there? Where did you head straight to Sydney, or where did you?
No, I went to Adelaide. So, I finished school and went to Adelaide. But even then, like, with not a view to do comedy. Like, I'd always sort of been around. Like, I liked comedy a lot. My dad and mum got me into. I got given The Life of Brian and The Meaning of Life for my 12th birthday.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And so
that's
it was always,
a good grounding.
It is, isn't it? I think that was them just trying to escape having to have the birds and the bees conversation with me. Just watch The Meaning of Life, mate. It's all in there somewhere. You know, every sperm is sacred. On your bike.
Life of Brian, you'll get that one scene where she gets up nude across the.
Yeah.
That'll change your outlook on life.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. So I liked that. It's funny too, because I didn't remember this at first, but somebody asked me, who's the first comedian that you ever listened to? And man, it was Bill Cosby.
Oh, wow.
Because my dad had it on vinyl. And so there's like the best of Bill Cosby, and it's this whole bit. My dad used to just lose his mind at that. And when you see your dad laughing at something, that sort of, I think, triggers you to go, okay, so this is funny.
Yeah.
This guy, this is what makes my dad laugh. I want to make my dad laugh like that. I better pay attention to this, you know? And it was that bit about Noah trying to build the ark or whatever for God. And Noah's like, right, the whole time. I've still got that vinyl, by the way.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to separate the man from his art there.
I know, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, yeah, bloody hell. He was he was one of a very distinctive, game-changing voice. Like, I remember my old man, had Fatherhood and Parent, like the book.
Oh, the book, yeah. Yep.
And that sort of stuff. My old man, same thing. He loved thought Bill Cosby was funny as.
In a bit, absolutely. And we grew up watching the Cosby Show and stuff. And then also there was...
there was a hint there, though, the Cosby Show. He was an OBGYN who worked out of his basement. When you think about it, so he was a...
He was a doctor?
Yeah, he was a doctor, but he was a gynecologist.
Oh, yeah.
And he worked out of his basement. His office downstairs. Like, when you look back at it, go, that is...
Nobody really knows what he's doing down there.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
I totally forgot that was his profession.
Yeah.
How did he slip that one under the radar?
It's insane.
I'm going to go back and watch it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
funny.
wait for all the... Oh, man.
Just also, too, did you ever see any clients coming out from a session with him?
I don't think so.
If anyone looks a little rattled?
What do you mean we don't need an anaesthesiologist?
Yeah, I'll do it. That's
Yeah.
okay. I'm a doctor, trust me.
It's
Here,
insane.
drink this.
Yeah, that was an insane premise when you think about
Yeah,
it.
it is. That's funny.
But yeah, that was to think of where that ended up, like where he ended up, like going to jail and all that sort of stuff. Like, from how you were perceived him in your childhood was completely different. But there wasn't, I don't know if we just weren't aware of it, but there didn't seem to be, you didn't have the access to the stars' personal lives or what it, like,
No.
you never heard anything about them
Not really.
off screen.
I mean, we didn't have access to bloody anything out there, you know, so you just sort of went with what you got. And like Billy Connolly was pretty big in our family as well, but you don't know anything about their personal life. You don't. I mean, there was no internet too, you know, so you don't have... we just didn't have access like people have access to comedy now. So, you know, and you see... when Beverly Hills Cop came out, and then everyone was trying to get a copy of Raw or whatever, and just going, what the fuck is this? You know?
I remember listening to the Raw at my cousin's house on tape, and it was like that thing where after we we were supposed to be going to bed, go to sleep, and he just puts it on. Me, and my brother just sitting around, just hosing ourselves to this audio, just the audio cassette.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine what it looked like because you could hear him doing the act outs, and it sounded funny even just on the audio.
Yeah. I was the same. My parents, we used to go over to their friend's house all the time, and the guy there, who's just a bit of an Aussie larrikin bloke, and he used to have in the toilet, he had those, do you remember they had those calendars, those caricature calendars back in the 80s with politicians and just with huge dicks or tiny dicks and stuff. Do you remember those?
Yes, I remember that.
Well, I don't know who drew those or what that was, and that was in the bathroom. And I used to love looking at that, just laughing at Johnny Howard's tiny little pinprick. But this guy had all of Kevin Bloody Wilson's stuff on tape as well.
Oh, wow.
And Dad would just let me listen to it there and just like, don't tell your mum. And that broke my brain as well, that this stuff was being said on tape. Because, all I'd heard before that was Bill Cosby, who's super, super clean. And then you go over to this spectrum here and it's just all bets are off, and I just couldn't believe that was being sung about. It was allowed even, it was so huge. Think about it, I was in the country, like we were prime demo for that sort of stuff.
100%. I remember when I would have been early high school, going on with the school hockey team going away, and we were on the bus, and the teacher, one of the blokes brought a Kevin Bloody Wilson tape and put it on the little bus that the teacher was like, oh, all right, and just let us, because I think he liked it too.
You had it so good.
Yeah, so just imagine a bus full of teenage boys just listening to Kevin Bloody Wilson songs.
That's heaven to me. That is actually heaven to me. I think that would be fantastic. I got busted. I went to boarding school for a little bit in Adelaide, and I think it was in year 9. We were in one of the dorms, we had That Fucking Cat's Back cranked. Now, how did he do that? I kicked the kingdom come. Now, where the fuck did he come from? That fucking cat's back. And just had it cranked. And one of the boarding house masters just stormed in, Mr. Wilson, and just stormed in. And he was so furious and he was so angry he couldn't control himself. And so he didn't know how to stop the bloody tape, and he kept just punching the thing. Yeah, I know. His name is Mr. Wilson.
My bloody cousin.
It was awesome. I hate this guy. He's a scourge to our name. And he was just like punching the tape recorder. He couldn't stop the bloody thing. And then he started swearing because he was getting frustrated. We were on the floor. Man, it was worth the detention. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. At that point, you're getting the detention.
Just sit back and
just enjoy the ride.
This is perfect.
So you got kids.
Yeah.
So are you?
Shit.
Are you conscious of getting them into good, pointing them into the right comedy?
The right comedy. So, but what is right?
Comedy, but get them exposed to stuff that they wouldn't necessarily maybe older stuff that they wouldn't necessarily find on their own, just to get them that good grounding.
I've tried I haven't watched any stand up or anything like that, but we've watched some sort of older movies that I used to get into, like The Goonies and stuff like that, and I'm trying to get them. They're still, for some reason, not interested in bloody Back to the Future, which is the perfect film.
They will. I don't get that, because my oldest boy in particular just got obsessed with Back to the Future, but neither of my boys would get involved with The Goonies. They just were like, I don't know. How are you?
So their first watch that we watched it, they didn't get into it, and then I gave it a couple of years, and then we watched it again, and then they did like it, and I just went, thank God, because that film for me again, I went, oh man, I started dressing like Josh Brolin after that. I had my shorts on the tracksuit pants over the top of my tracky pants in this country town. I copped it so hard, but I loved that film. I used to go down. Pardon me. I used to go down to the local dump, and just pretend that I was in that film, trying to find I was going to find a bloody treasure map or something. But yeah, I can't get them into comedy yet. I'm more they listen to a lot of different music that, like hip hop and like Public Enemy and then some heavy metal stuff that I like, and they, I go, I think you might like this one if you like this song. I'm kind of like their own personal Spotify. You know what I mean?
I do a bit of that too.
Yeah.
Now my oldest boy, he's 15, and he's sort of on his own. He loves music, so he's on his own. So now he's really loving coming to me with So, oh, Dad,
Look what I found.
look what I found.
Yeah.
And which is cool. Some of it is, and I wouldn't tell him this. There's a couple of artists that he comes to me with, and I'm like, I know exactly why this is tickling your brain at this age.
Yeah.
But this is not going to stick with. Like, it's that real. Like, he likes lyrics that sound like they mean something, and he's got this one guy, and it's just the lyrics are so pretentious. It's just all this wordplay shit that sounds smart to a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
But once you're sort of over 25, you go, oh yeah, no, this is just masturbation.
Yeah. And you're like, listen, mate, listen to this track from The Doc.
Yeah.
And he'll break your brain the way he raps. But
my youngest bloke yesterday said to me, Dad, thanks for getting me into Eminem. And I'm
yeah,
like,
nice.
I didn't realise I did. Because he liked one song, and I said, oh, you might like this, and I would put on Rap God, because he was impressed with how fast.
Yeah.
Eminem
That's what
raps.
Archie's into as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes how fast Eminem is, and that's why I played him The Doc as well, because Eminem loves The Doc. I think they like that, and Archie will sit there with the phone and look at the lyrics and just try and keep up with it and stuff. And I'm like, okay,
which is crazy.
This is good.
You think about when we were their age, you'd hope that the tape liner or the record liner had the lyrics in it, and a lot of the time it didn't. So you'd just be listening, trying to.
What is he saying? What is this?
Yeah.
It's
but yeah, now it's like just comes up like Apple, especially. It just will come up on the thing. That was the thing I used to whenever I'm in the car with the boys now, because we've got the CarPlay in my little car, so that you just plug your phone in. Then they take turns picking a song and getting it, which is a lot of it's just that's that fun age now where you get to introduce them to
I have to do it because
like
otherwise they just play bullshit that they hear that are memes and stuff. Or there's some gamers have brought out their own songs, and it's from Fortnite. It's like a little fishy on me, and they're like terrible raps. Or there's just these weird meme songs. There's just at the moment they just think this John Cena meme song, which is John Cena saying "bin chilling," which is like "bin chilling, bin chilling." It sounds racist as shit, and I'm sitting there going, I don't want to listen to this anytime, anymore. And so I am trying. I always go, I'll get in the car and go, I think we'll start with one of mine. And try and play that and go, there you go, do you like that? And he's like, yes. And then it goes back to bin chilling. But at least I got something in.
Exactly. It's all right for you to have them to have their stuff, but they've got to get exposed to better stuff as well.
Yeah.
And that's at the moment too, I'm getting with comedy, because I think my boys 13 and 15, that is that age where as a boy your sense of humour is they're just so open to stuff, and like if something tickles you at that age, it just imprints on your brain. So I'm trying to, they'll ask me about different, like the older one especially watches a few stand-up specials.
Yeah, cool.
But he's right into Arrested Development at the moment.
Yeah.
Like he's been watching that, and he's just coming to me, Dad, this, and I said, oh mate, you got to read. He goes, I can't believe that joke from episode 3 didn't make sense till episode 5. And I'm like, yeah, mate, rewatch it. You'll pick up on so much more stuff.
That's awesome. He's going to turn into a comedy writer. By the sounds of it.
God, I hope not.
I played. I did start showing him really early Simpsons as well.
Yeah.
Because they watched the Simpsons movie, and then I just went, do you want to watch some of this older stuff? And played them some of the. They said we want to start from the start. I'm like, God damn, this is going to take years. Okay. So we went all the way back and just started watching it. And they love that too. And it's like, even that is kind of, the earlier stuff is more geared towards kids because it was more Bart centric. And then it sort of gets a bit more over their heads and stuff. So I went, well, let's just start slow here and we'll drip feed.
You can age with
it, like the Harry Potter films, what I mean? That's kind of cool. But at the moment, they're just goofballs. It is all still heavily in the toilet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think that goes away.
Well, yeah. I never thought I'd tire of it. Now I do. I'm like, fuck, I've had enough. I've had enough of talking about your butthole and your farts and your penis. I don't really give a shit anymore.
Like, that just doesn't go away for the boys. Like I said, one good thing is with the 15-year-old in particular, like he'll appreciate a well-constructed joke, but it hasn't stopped him enjoying like a good fart as well.
That's yeah. Well, that farts are good. Don't worry, I'm fine with that. It's just them constantly saying every punchline is butthole. It's like, mate, you need to work on your craft.
Yeah.
We got more to do with you. Has your son seen you do stand up?
Man, he's seen me. I actually was talking about this on stage. He's seen me 3 times now.
Yeah.
Once was at one of those seniors galas in at Town Hall. So for Seniors Week, you know, they put that on. So it was 7 minutes.
And that's got to be clean too, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? They had the day off school, so I was like, come in. So I know Burner was hosting. Like, it was a real good lineup, and I thought these boys will enjoy this. But it was Town Hall that holds, I don't know how many people, but it was maybe half capacity. A lot of elderly people with their carers. Everyone's still masked from COVID, so it just wasn't like I remember there was
good crowd.
Yeah,
primo crowd for comedy, man.
They'd seen me and they're standing side of stage, and all I was like, oh man, I am bombing in front of my
You're
kids.
killing. Literally, 4 people died during your set.
Yeah. And so then the second time the oldest one to see me was I did a gig this year for the grand final.
Yeah.
For NRL grand final at one of the functions.
Oh, yeah.
Which, you know, not really set up in your favour for comedy. Like, it was fine, but it wasn't, like, it was as good as they're going to be in those, because, you know, there's people down one end of the room that they're eating and having a meal. Yeah. So, yeah, a few laughs and people enjoyed it, but it wasn't, like, it went as good as those ones go.
Yeah. And
then the last time, I was like, finally he's going to see me in a good scenario. I'd been opening for Jim Owen.
Yeah.
And so he was at a loose end, and I said, do you want to just come hang out? You can hang out and sit and watch from side of stage, and, you know. He's like, oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
So, but that night, for some reason, the crowd it just wasn't, like, I came off thinking, oh man, they're just there to see Jim Owen. They didn't really get into me.
Yeah.
And the whole time, like, I know he's side of stage, and I'm going, fuck, he is bombing. I'm bombing in front of my son again. Like, he's going to think I'm
3 for 3.
And then Jim Owen went on, and he goes, how did you find him? I said, oh man, I found they were kind of tough. Like, he's like, I said, I think they're just here for you. And then he came off and says to me, he goes, fuck, I'm glad you said you thought they were tough. He goes, that was hard work. I really didn't enjoy that. So him and I are in the ground, and Oscar comes down. My son comes down, walks in, and the minute he walks in, Jim Owen turns to me and goes, Oscar, you have to understand, your dad and I are usually much better than that.
At least it came from Jim Owen, you know? Like, you said that's sad. Yes. But Jim Owen said it's like, yep, well, they listen to it.
That's what he was worried too, because it's funny because Oscar's like, he loves, like, he's really into his music, so he plays guitar and stuff. So I was, I'd be getting there early and for sound check and stuff, and Jim Owen plays guitar at the end of the thing, so I was just taking his guitar, and so we could plug it in and do a quick sound check with the guitar. So I was bringing it. So before I go to each gig, Oscar had tuned the guitar for him, so he was real. So Jim Owen knew that Oscar. So they had big guitar chat, and sat at sound check. He got Oscar to play the guitar while he sang.
Yeah, nice.
Which was a real beautiful moment. But then it was on his mind too that Oscar was sitting there. This is the night he's come to see us.
Oh, Dad and Jim Owen.
And and we
did he have an impression of the crowd himself though? Like, did he notice it from where he was sitting?
No, Oscar thought it was fine.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Fine's not great.
No, he goes, I thought it was really good.
That was fine. Wouldn't it have been funny if Oscar came backstage and did what every comedian hates and just went, how did you think that went?
Yeah, I know.
You're like, shut the fuck up. You're not coming to another gig.
Yeah, no. That was good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
The high pitch.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah. So this all you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was funny because Jim Owen had mates in the audience there, and they were like, we said g'day to them after, and they were like, that was great, everyone loved it. We're like, really?
Maybe it was the size of the room?
It was, I think.
If it was a big cavern, you know, the laughs again is sunk up in the ceiling, you're not connected to anybody, it can feel that way.
There was definitely a disconnect. I think there was a couple of people in the front row who were just giving nothing to, so it was hard to get that connection. You know, you want to feed a bit of back and forth of
totally.
energy and that sort of stuff. But yeah, and then I'd since had some people, like I did a solo at the Sydney Comedy Store, and I mentioned those 3 times, like on stage, telling the story about how I think that Oscar's going to think that I'm not very good at this. And but I had a few, because I didn't mention which venue it was deliberately, and then people coming out were like, oh, we saw you at Jim Owen at this place.
Yeah.
Was it that one? And there was people from that show there that going, yeah, no, it wouldn't have been that one. Well, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like,
right.
really?
Oh, it's so weird, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
amazing how in your head you can get about the reaction you're getting. But then I think it came off the back to the night before. I think it was the night before, or maybe the show before was red hot. Like it was one of those, you know, when you come off a red hot crowd and then you go back to
normal.
Normal, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh man, I'm bombing. And you're like, no, just readjust, mate.
It's like when you do a double show on the one night.
Yeah.
One smashes and then you get in and you're like, fuck me, we could have just gone home.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Why do we have to go all Icarus with this?
Yeah. You did. You flew too close. Now look at us.
Yes.
We're all falling.
Mate, so when you moved to Adelaide, like what was the plan originally? Because you said comedy wasn't the original plan. What were you thinking?
I thought I was going to be an actor.
Really?
Yeah. So because I just wanted to get out. I was only ever good at like English and drama at school, and then so in year 12 I auditioned to get into this place called the Centre for Performing Arts in Adelaide. And I got in, and so finished school and just went straight over there and thought, yeah, I'll do that. And I loved comedy, don't get me wrong, but I didn't think you could make a living out of it, and I didn't think that was something that I was going to do. If I was going to be something, I was going to be an actor, and if I was going to be in something, I didn't mind if I was going to be in something serious or if it was going to be something comedic. But that's how I sort of, I guess, saw it. And then it wasn't until I was introduced to comedy in Adelaide in first year, like I was like 17, because another comic, Dave Williams, who lives here, he was in my class. That's how we met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've known him since I was 17.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and we did this play together. So he was doing stand-up then. So he was 19. I think he's 2 years older than me. And so he'd been doing stand-up in Adelaide already, and then got into that course, and then we were in the same class. And then we were in the same group. We were studying different types of theatre. So one group had to do Greek comedy, and one had to do Roman comedy, or Greek tragedy, and blah, 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 blah. And you had to give an example of that. And we did Greek comedy, and we had to do our own interpretation of this Greek comedy called The Birds. And so we put this play on, or a mini play on, of this thing, giving an example of what Greek comedy is, and made our own interpretation of this script. And the owner of this club in Adelaide came to that show and loved it and loved our whole group, and went to Dave and approached Dave and just went, we would really like to get these guys in and have them working at the club, not as stand-up comedians, but as pre-show entertainment. So while everyone's eating their frozen fucking deep fried cordon bleu, because you get a cordon bleu and a VB package deal, and so while everyone was eating that, so like being seated, you had to be seated, so there was like wacky waiters. So we all had to have our own characters and
almost like theatre restaurant style.
Sort of, yeah. And so we had to do. So there's all this bit of chaos that was happening, a bit of drama happening on the floor, and then something had end up on stage. So my character was this Elvis impersonating chef, and as everyone's coming down, I've got a tray of shots, and I give everybody shots, and I just say, "Hey, how you going? I'm going to be singing tonight," and no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm dead set convincing them that I'm going to do a performance tonight. And there was a blind waitress, and she was hilarious, the actor who was playing that. And she was convinced that I was Elvis, right? And so I would get up and sing this song, and she'd go nuts and go up on stage, and we would kiss, and everyone it was just crazy. It was just chaos. And then we'd get ushered off by the maitre d', was this sort of almost like a psychotic Manuel from Fawlty Towers. So it was like Manuel, but with the attitude of Basil, you know. And so they'd try and clear us all off again, and then I'd later on I'd try and sneak on and sing another song. So I'd end up singing 2 songs. I'd do like Blue Suede Shoes, and then do Suspicious Minds, and then get fired, you know what I mean? And then after that, tables would be cleared, stand-up would start.
Bloody hell.
And that was it. That was the job. So then I would always just stick around and watch the show because it was crazy. Like, it was awesome. This is when Adam Hill still lived in Adelaide, and so he was on there all the time because he was working at SAFM, and Dave would be up, and then other great comics. And then the owner of the club was also most of the time the headliner. And when I first saw him, it broke my brain again. It was another one of those things where I just went, this guy is a god. And I remember one night my parents had come to visit, and I was so proud to show them, look, I got where I work. And we got sat at the table, and Dad is fucking thumping the table at this guy, laughing, just losing his mind. And it was this great feeling and it wasn't until years later that I discovered that apparently most of that guy's material was lifted.
Oh.
And it hurt so hard.
Oh, that is
it hurt. So it's like that moment, that when you do peer too far behind backstage, that whole behind the candelabra thing, when you peer too far behind it and you just see the machinations of everything and you go, no, please don't break this for me because I want to still love comedy the way normal people, audiences still love comedy. That hurt. That broke my heart.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
That is heartbreaking. And I know.
Yeah, and it was a brilliant set. And he was doing Richard Pryor, and I didn't know, and he was doing a bunch of Gary Who, and I didn't know. Oh. And it was just like an endless list of all these amazing comics that I didn't know about because I was 17 when I was working there.
Which then you wouldn't, like, that's the other thing is, like, then, like, it was more common then. Like you look at when Vizard came out, and he was basically lifting Letterman.
Yeah.
Because we weren't seeing Letterman here.
Yeah.
Like, so you could, like, guys could get away with that sort of stuff, so it was more common, and there was I don't know that the culture was quite the same, but it's still heartbreaking when you held this bloke up as a genius.
I know.
And then,
I feel like Vizard was still doing an homage to him, though.
Yeah,
in a way,
like
it wasn't like a direct parody, and yet it still was, and so it was sort of within the confines. It was still a little bit. There was a safety there, where I don't think he was really just saying, this is my format and I created this, do you know what I mean? And it wasn't very long until we all discovered Letterman.
Yeah.
And I don't think I went, Vizard's a piece of shit for doing that. I still really loved watching Vizard.
No. But it was like, look, it was that thing where, like, how's he, like, it seemed like the newest thing, and then you realise, this is actually an established format
that's been going for years.
Yeah.
We just had Hey Hey It's Saturday. They had Carson to grow up with, you know what I mean? Like, what the
we had red faces.
Jesus, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But that's so you obviously then just drifted into the stand up.
Yeah, so I was in that world then, and but I hadn't done stand-up. I did a bit of improv there. Because again, so me and myself and Dave and the girl who played the blind waitress sort of formed a little improv group, and we were called the Freudian Slips, and we do Whose Line Is It Anyway stuff, you know what I mean?
I love a good improv group name.
Freudian Slips is like pretty good. I thought that was a good one.
That is.
As a 17-year-old.
I don't think I've heard it. I don't think I'd heard that. Freudian slip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've heard the frayed knots. Like,
nobody had heard of us. That's right. To this day, it was short-lived, but that was really exciting to get up at that stage on that club, And I never did stand-up in that club because I didn't actually start doing stand-up in Adelaide. I was just around it all the time. Wow. Yeah, I was obsessed by it and was going to it heaps because Dave was going to it and loved it. There was quite a good scene in Adelaide then. It wasn't until I moved to Melbourne when I was like, I think I moved to Melbourne when I was like 19. And again, it wasn't until a couple of years after that, because Dave moved over from Adelaide and lived in Melbourne, and then we were living together, and I was the only one with a car. And it was me and Dave and another comedian, Adam Vincent, who he lives in England now. He was one of Adam Hills's head writers for this one of his TV shows. Anyway, we all lived in this house together. And I had the car, so I was driving them around to gigs, but I still wasn't doing stand-up. And it wasn't until, Dave just started hassling me going, you should do stand-up, you should do stand-up, you should do stand-up. And then he booked a gig behind my back one night, and it was about a half an hour walk away. And I'm like, fuck, okay, I'll do it. And so we just worked out a set on the walk there.
Oh, Jesus. That's some proper actor stuff too right there, isn't it? I bet you were still
basic ideas.
That guy, like, because it's always fascinating when you see a see someone new that's got an acting or performing background, and you're like, this doesn't make sense that the like, because most, if they don't have that background, most open micers, you can see the nerves or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone's got that performance background...
It's my time to shine! Hollywood! Yeah, we always sell it with braggadocio, you know.
This person's like, they look like they know they should be there. What's going on?
Yeah, totally. That's so funny. Yeah, definitely. When I first started, mate, I was selling bullshit with vibe, that's for sure.
But that's one of the things I think I've probably learnt from working with you, and it was a revelation I had to have.
Is you sell bullshit with vibe. That's all you are, Cam.
Was the idea that you should perform. Because and one of the big revelations, I had the same revelation with Reece Nicholson, because working with you and him at the store, where I'd be hosting, but I'd be just sitting backstage and I'd be hearing it and going, this is good.
Yeah.
But then working with you guys where I'd get to sit out the front and actually watch.
Yeah.
I was like, there's so much more to this than just what I'm sitting and listening to backstage.
Yeah. But that's the stuff that I loved watching. You know, like Pryor would do all these amazing act outs, and Billy Connolly would do act outs, and you know, Eddie Murphy do these act outs, and I love that. I love when they're not just doing it's not just about the words, but it's them stepping outside of that script and then embodying the characters, or like Pryor would, like embody a dog, or be the dog, or be the car he just shot up. And I loved that inanimate objects could become characters in your stand-up, and so it just fleshes it out. And yeah, it does. It is a bit more theatrical, and it does. Man, when I first got into that and was tapping into that, I used to sweat my guts out on stage. It was exhausting. I've become a lot more lazier, and as I got older, like my act outs are very much more like, I'll be standing there doing my thing, acting a little bit, go into that, come back, and I just draw it right back again, because it's fucking exhausting.
Yeah, it does. Like it took me so long to even get to the point where I was comfortable enough to even try. Like, I remember talking to Mike Goldstein years ago. We were talking about how neither of us felt comfortable doing act outs.
Yeah.
And he just says to me, he goes, as soon as I write a bit that requires an act out, I just throw it in the bin. I'm like,
can you tell him to send him my way?
Yeah.
I need some extra bits.
I think he's relaxed on that. So, like, not relaxed, but more comfortable with doing that sort of stuff too. But I'm certainly, because it just occurred to me, like, it was like, you know, you have every now and then you just have a revelation. Yeah. Where there was just one night on stage where I was comfortable and I actually put a bit, and I was like, and it got way more. And I'm like, if I actually put a bit of effort into this as a performance, I could probably get way more than I'm getting out of this. And it was that, and I remember one time, a revelation I had too was sitting I taped one of my festival shows. I just had my camera up the back, and I thought, the camera's there, do them to turn it on. And in my head, I was the greatest showman, right? I'm all around it. And then I watch it back, and I'm literally just moving my hand a little bit like this. I'm like, oh man, you need to really get into this.
It's like if you do too much ketamine. You think you're dancing, but you're not really. That's your stand-up.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Oh, wow. But yeah, that was always, I don't know, the ones that I always used to really love watching more, that I got excited by, because you didn't know where that was going to go too, you know, it was just a bit looser. And same, Robin Williams was the same too. I think that was just chaos. And
well, it's part
I
of
love
the
that
energy.
Chaos. Yeah, the energy, you feed off that vibe and that energy, and if you get into that, it's just this, it becomes more, I love that when you're kind of whipping them up and you can feel that, and you're on this weird collective level. I don't know, there's nothing better than that when you feel like you're in the pocket, you know? Not, because, I mean, Jesus Christ, if you took that audience away, I'd look insane. I'm just having a fit.
I think we all, just someone up there, there's not really, I went to a gig recently, and I was walking to an open mic just to try some new stuff. And I was at the open mic, and I got off at Town Hall and walked past a guy who's just doing the preaching on the outside Town Hall. And I was like, what a lunatic. And then I'm standing in front of 6 people trying to remember
your little riddles.
New jokes. And I'm like, you know, at least he's got something behind
Yeah,
his.
you're one bad decision away from becoming that guy.
Yeah, at least he believes in
He
his
believes
material.
in himself, as do countless others. Yeah,
I do not believe in this material.
he does on paper have more followers than you.
Yeah,
because of religion.
I didn't even realise that. That's a thought that's going to fester.
Yeah.
Oh man! So how long have you been in Sydney?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. Legally? No, I don't know. When did I come over?
Because you were doing stuff for the Comedy Channel. You were hosting.
Yeah, I was hosting. So I'm trying to. I can't.
Was that
it
out of
such
Sydney?
a blur? So yeah, but so when I got with the Comedy Channel when I was in Melbourne still. I reckon I'm going to say 17 years. I don't know if that's true or not. It could be anywhere between 15 and 17. It's more than 15 years. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, when I was with the Comedy Channel, first got with the Comedy Channel, I was in Melbourne, and then I kept having to come up here all the time and was doing stuff and shooting stuff, and then we were going to. They just kept suggesting it'd be a lot easier if you lived here. It'd be a lot easier if you lived here, and that was more just to save them on the flights and stuff. You know?
Flights and accommodation.
Not that we miss you. And so eventually I just went all right and came up, and then we got into the stand-up show, into Stand Up Australia, which was we did, I think, someone told me we did about 120 episodes, which is insane. So we shot the first season in Sydney, and then for fuck's sake, and then the Comedy Channel moved to Melbourne.
This sounds perfectly like TV.
Right, and so then we had to go and shoot the second season of that show in Melbourne. I was like, I'm not going back there. I just came here. I want to stay here now. I like it here. The weather's better. And so I stayed here, and that went there. And I think within a year I'd left. So I was with them. I was with the Foxtel for about 5 years altogether. But yeah, I just stayed put.
How did you find that? Like, because you hosted, but it was the format you basically emceed each of the shows?
Yeah.
So 120 episodes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of material.
It's a lot of bad material. I got that job, and I think I only had 15 minutes of material under my belt by that stage. I hadn't been doing it for very long.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I just got lucky. And I had hosted a couple of other shows on Foxtel before that, right? And then that was the first one that I ever got. It was just an audition thing. It was an open call for anybody, and I got that. And then from that, I got offered this other show, and from that, I got an offer for another one. And then, it sort of went from there. I got lucky. And but yeah, the stand up Australia was the set was made to look like a pub, and we named the pub the Troubled Bison, and they had a bar, and we had a barman, and the audience was allowed to drink. And we were all allowed to drink. It was just filled with a bunch of eclectic stuff, like all this sort of gear, and it looked like a pub you'd find in Fitzroy in Melbourne or Newtown or something.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I had to do 3 minutes of material off the top, and then throw to the first act, and then after the break maybe do like a 30-second to 60-second another gag, and then throw to the other one, and that was about it. And so we had to. Basically, we shot all of it in one day. So we did 5. It was on every day of the week for the first season.
Holy.
And then we realised we'd run out of comedians. So
yeah, I was going to say there's
weekly.
not that many comedians, especially at that stage.
yeah. And so we'd shoot 4 live episodes. So, 3 4s of 12. So you had to do like 12 minutes of material prepared for that. Maybe, and then maybe the 1 minuters as well on top of that as well. So let's say 15 to 17 minutes of gear for that, and then we'd do a best of all of that. So I just host the links. I just go and now say a couple of funny things and then throw to this person, and that was a best of that week prior that would play. But so it was we had to do it back to back, and a lot of that material had never. After I'd run out of my 15 minutes.
So after the first week?
Yeah. We were on empty. I said that I did my own warm-up as well. I didn't want anyone else to do warm-up, because I was the host, and I wanted to just go in there and get them going and get them on side and make sure everyone knew me and we were all cool and we're mates, and it just broke that fourth wall, and
And it feels like you're hosting the comedy.
I'm hosting the whole thing. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And just wanted to make sure everything was under control. And then they were on my side because I knew some of this is just going to be shit. It's not going to, not them, the other comics. It was my stuff too. I had to carry this ship, And so, yeah, a lot of it was in that first season, I'd just get up and it was the first time I'd bloody said it. And it was me and, there was a couple of writers. For the most part, it was me and Dave. I got Dave writing with me, and then we got a few other writers just throwing in a few things every now and then, like every couple of weeks if we're a bit drier, if Dave couldn't do it. For the most part, though, it was every week, me and Dave getting together and losing our minds for 2 days and just trying to get it together for the following week. And it was insane. And it broke me.
It
was crazy.
I'm surprised that
Yeah.
you're still not broken from that. That's insane.
Mate, I'm sober for a reason now.
Yeah. Well, that's
You know what I mean? But we had a break in between the first and the second season, and in that time, I was going around at that point then and testing new material and going to open mics and going, Jesus Christ, I've got to run this in. I've really got to run this in. Some of the ones they were really terrible. And I don't know, I felt like it was slightly a bit better prepared, but even then I wasn't sort of sold on the way that I did the second season. But either way, yeah, it was trial by fire. I learned how to do comedy while Australia was watching.
Yeah, that's a tough.
That was hard. You know what I mean?
That's what I always.
Yeah.
When you look at the people who start when they've already got a profile, and you're like, oh man, this is. Because I'm so glad I got to make all my mistakes in complete anonymity.
Isn't that a wonderful thing?
Well, not all my mistakes. I still make them, but you know what I mean? Like all those early mistakes.
Yeah.
Every comic, because you've got to go through the being too dirty phase. You've got to go
100%.
through the trying to shock the audience.
Yeah.
Am I going to be like you? Not everyone. There's few comics that are born that have a point of view or locked in on their point of view from the very start.
Yeah, and I hate
that.
them.
Is
I hate them
I know.
so much that they can die.
Yeah,
No.
Luke Heggie. We're talking
Yeah,
about
maybe
you.
you're born with it. Fucking hell. Save some for us, Heggie. Jesus Christ.
But it's that. They're really rare.
Yeah.
Most of us have to evolve as we go, and to be doing that in front of a camera would be terrifying.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was a real trial by fire. Like if I got offered that again, I would still take it because it was just a crazy experience. And
well, you'd probably know now this far in, you'd know enough to.
Oh no, I mean,
You know
like
what I
if I had my time again and I knew that was coming, I'd still take it because I was
Yeah.
like, man, I had to go and see where this took me. I was either that or the dole. So let's take this job and see where this takes me, sort of thing. But yeah, I would love to. It's funny. I still get people who come up to me and recognise me from that, and I always say, I'm sorry. And they go, man, it was great. Everyone who was watching was stoned anyway. But like, we used to love getting baked and just watch that. And I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing, mate. I was a kid, And I'm like, go in apologising, and they're just like, they're not coming in to give me grief about it.
Don't ruin my memory of this show.
Yeah, it's like, okay, all right.
It's like something, when you feel like the gig hasn't gone well, but someone comes up to talk
It's
to you
like
up
you
and
were
they
that Jim Owens experience.
Yeah.
It's that, but I had that times 11 basically. Like,
just try not to talk the audience out of their enjoyment. They think they enjoyed it. No, you didn't.
No, you're fine. It's all good. It's all good. There were some episodes that were dog shit, and there were others that weren't. But that was like, we did so many of them. It's crazy.
You realise there's a few times I think in a career where you realise that the thing you've dreamt of is actually mostly just a lot of really, really hard work, and that's where you find out if you really want to do it.
Yeah. I didn't. I mean, when we stopped doing that, when I left, I just didn't want to do stand up for a while. I'd had enough of the sound of my own voice and just needed to go, what is going on? But then there was a real tipping point with me too, that I just sat down and just said, right, you got to get good at comedy.
Yeah.
Like, go and get good at it and just go and gig and start again. And it was I felt like I really did start again, and worked at it and allowed myself the time to work at it and not just go, oh, well, I need this now. It's like, no, this takes a longer time than you think.
Yeah, I think because everyone wants opportunities and you want them, you always think you're ready for the opportunity. But sometimes I look and go, you've also got to be if you get an opportunity, you've got to be experienced enough to be able to make the most of it or take what you need out of it.
Yeah.
Like you see people, like it can be, and you're sort of like not lucky, but lucky in a way that you were able to come through the other side of that, and be like, oh, no, I still want to do comedy. I want to keep going, and I want like not have that break you completely.
No, well, I had huge imposter syndrome. I didn't think that I should be there.
Yeah.
I totally thought there were other comics that were way better than me that deserved to be where I was. But I also, on the same token, I got the job. So I had to do it. I'm not going to go, no, you know what?
Yeah.
They should do it.
I
was like, man, I got the job, and like I said, it was either that or nothing. And when you get offered something when you're that young, you just got to go where's this going to take me? What am I going to do? Where's this going to end up?
You've got to take the opportunities that come to you.
100%. But I mean, if you're not prepared for it, you soon bloody will be. Like you've got to just sort of face into it. But I didn't know if I wanted to after that. I didn't know if I was going to do stand up. I needed to take a break for a bit and just reset. And then it was, okay, we're on again. Let's go.
Well, which is good, because I think that, it's the, I don't know about you, but it's the job that sort of, I've realised this year after doing a bit of stuff that took me, that this is the thing that I'm probably best at. Yeah. Like of all the different things I've tried, this is the one that I feel like I should be doing most.
It's funny because this is the only sort of thing that I'd known. Because it's like I went straight from school into this weird world. So I've never gone, why don't I go and get a job and not do comedy and not do acting and just focus on that job? Because it was always like if I had a part-time job, it was always, that's just something that's there. And I don't know, I've never tried another proper profession as a full thing.
Have you ever had the fantasy though, like about, do you ever, because we all get those moments where this is bullshit, and you look at the person like on a bus or whatever going, they're going to an office. I wonder what that's like to have the security of a job, or is there a career where in your head you go, you know what, if I couldn't do this again, that's what I'd do? I
flirted with being a fiery.
I could see that
for a little while.
It's just because of the calendars. I
just wanted to get.
Mate, you'd be a good February.
Yeah. I did in my early 30s. I thought, maybe I'll just go and be a fiery for a bit. But then there was parts of me that just thought, wouldn't it have been cool to just piss off and be one of those people that travels, like chasing a winter, going to snowboarding. Yeah. Just being one of those snowboarding goofballs that's just working on the mountains and whatever. I don't know if I'd ever eventuate to do anything doing that. But you see, or just getting into some sort of, I don't know, adventure tourism thing, It didn't have just such a grind. You always see these people that are doing that sort of stuff, and they seem so goddamn happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's like the guy that, when you're like up, you're on holidays somewhere and you go on like the snorkeling tour, and the guy that's just pulls up the boat, okay guys, get in, get yourself some fins, there you go, and we'll take you out. And you just go, oh man, that wouldn't, that does seem like...
It's a great life. He just got up and went, I'm going on the boat.
Yeah.
And I just got to make sure nobody dies.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically it. Like, it is a great life when you think about it. And then he can go he's got a boat, he can go anywhere on that boat all the time. Man, even driving to your house today, I had to go over that huge bridge, and I just see these people out there just jet skiing, and I'm like, what? How do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you get that life? I'd love to just nip out on a jet ski. I would have loved to jet ski here, man.
Mate,
cool.
I get the same thing. So I'll often go for a jog. I'll finish down. Down the bottom there's like a little wharf where people fish off, and I remember down there like maybe a couple of weeks ago. I just finished my run. It was a beautiful sunny day, and there's this people just standing there, and this like their friend's boat pulls up, and can you help us just hold, like I just helped them step onto the boat because it was a bit rocky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you, like, how is this happening midweek in the middle of the day? Like, what lives do you have that you're like,
I know,
let's just go out
but
on
we
the
could
water.
do that. We do nothing during the day. Why can't I go and jet ski and then go to work at night and tell my jokes?
That's
But then I feel an immense amount of guilt that I'm not working on my craft. I'm not writing the fucking best joke. I can't just go out and be free and jet ski and then go and tell my jokes. It's not fair. You can't have anything with comedy, I feel. You can't have any fucking hobbies. This becomes all-consuming. You should be focusing on comedy.
Because it doesn't feel like it's it feels like such a dumb job that you have to take it more seriously than people take their serious job. Like, it's like... If I don't take this super seriously, then I am just an idiot.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know about you, but I find too, like, I spend all that time locked in. Okay, got to do this, got to work on this, work on that, and then just no progress, and then take a bit of time off, and at the end of it, like, go on a holiday or just do some relaxing. All of a sudden, I've got a bunch of thoughts and ideas for bits.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you just exist in the world sometimes,
It comes to you.
it comes to you.
Yeah, totally. That's it. I feel like chefs are sort of similar to that regard too. Like they need to come up for air every now and then. I floated that too. I was thinking I might be a chef for a while.
Really?
Yeah, my mum was trying to encourage me to go and study to be a chef as well. And I was like, I don't want to be in the fucking kitchen with all these people.
No.
I just like the idea of cooking for one person. That's enough for me. That's enough. I'm an audience
cooking
of
for
one.
the
That's the
stuff
only
I
time.
like
That's
too.
the only time I want an audience of one. Is when I'm cooking for somebody.
Yeah, I'll make enough for two, but I want an audience of one.
That's right. Yeah. It's fucking. I feel like, if you pressure yourself, you're never going to get anywhere. But then I go through phases with it too. There's where I just don't want to write anything, and then all of a sudden I'll just go and sit down and watch, I don't know, 5 specials or something, and then feel. Oh,
Inspired.
Yeah. Oh, comedy. Yeah. Right. And then you'll go back and you'll address, there's a bunch of your phones just full of half-baked ideas, then go for a walk and just sort of piece that together and stuff and go, okay. I feel like when you're pressuring yourself constantly, you end up hating it. And I don't want to feel that, because that's how I felt when I was doing Stand Up Australia. It's when I don't want to hate this.
That's a real good, I don't know, like as the older I get, the more I'm like, now, okay, well, trying to just take the lessons out of, if I didn't enjoy something, why didn't I enjoy it, and how do I shape that? What do I take out of that experience where I go, okay, I either don't want to do that again, or I'd do it differently if I did it different ways. And that knowing, like, just even that knowing, I don't want to get to the point where I hate this because I do love it. Yeah. You don't want to, like,
or that it's a burden.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I know we got into this because you didn't want a real job, but it is a job.
Yeah.
So you have to treat it like it's a job, and you do have to have a discipline. But then there's times where you've also got to just cut yourself some slack, because you're not going to just sit down and just write the best stuff all the time. It's just not going to happen, man.
And also, I think the whole job is to make people in a room have fun.
Yeah.
And if you're miserable, like for me, if I'm miserable, it's so hard for me to make people have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that thing, if I'm not enjoying this, why would they?
Yeah. Funny though, when I have been in my darkest, most miserable self, not because it's comedy related, I've had some of the best gigs of my life. Like, that became the thing. That was the best distraction, the thing that I needed to distract myself from this chaos that was taking place behind me. Do you know what I mean?
I've had similar things where that was, like, if, there's a bunch of shit going on in my real life. Yeah. Because it does force you into the moment. Yeah. When you're on stage. Yeah. So that was the time. I remember, went through a couple of tough times where I was like, when my youngest bloke was crook, and that was the time that when I was on stage for however long it was, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just in the moment, just
100%
doing that, and that was a relief.
And you're in control of something, and you're the best version of yourself, and everybody agrees. Yeah. And you go, oh. Yeah. You just stepped outside of your little world into another bubble. It's this little safety net, It's nothing better.
My wife will still, every now and then, if I'm getting, like, she said to me a few times, just go do an open mic or something. You need to get on stage. Like, you need to just clear your head. She goes, you're just happier if you gig a bit.
It's funny that, because I give myself a lot of breaks now, and it's because you end up, if you go too long, there's a tipping point, and then you think you hate comedy, and then you think you might quit, and then you start fantasizing about other jobs, and then you go and do a gig and you go, fucking, what was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell, dude? Just have a day off, go back, something.
I've finally learnt to go past my instinct of, because I was saying to someone recently, like, as soon as it's in the diary, I don't want to do it. Like my fantasy of driving to a gig and getting the phone call that it's off. Guilty turn around. But now knowing on in the after, I don't want to have to leave the house tonight or whatever.
Yeah.
But then knowing I've done it enough now that knowing that when I'm driving back from the gig, I'll be like, so glad I did that.
Yeah.
It's that just trying to trust your brain.
Totally.
It's all just part of the process.
It is. It is.
Now, we are getting about to time, but before we go, we were talking about it just before off camera. Bottle-O, talk me through what's going on with that. So people can obviously find Bottle-O everywhere.
Yeah, so we got a series with Luke Heggie called Bottle-O, which we had originally shot some stuff in a bottle shop. It's sort of sketches, but each scene is its own little vignette, I guess, a little story, just with the types of people that you get coming in and out of the store. And then we started doing that during lockdown and just shooting that on green screen. And we just kept doing it. And now we're just taking a little break, and hopefully we'll get back into it again, I guess, next year. We want to do it in seasons and get back into a shop, because I feel like it works better. I'm sick of filming in my bloody lounge room, to be honest. Yeah.
But it also, I think from a performance perspective, it would put you more into the moment.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You know.
It was fun. It's been a lot of fun, Like we've had some stupid fun times in my lounge room, just losing our minds, laughing, making this stuff. It was awesome, and it was great just learning a new discipline, like learning how to edit and whatnot. And we had so many good. We should have got you on. We'll get you on the next one. And yeah, it was cool. We got this little community now, and they seem to really like it, and yeah, it's great. It's been really, really fun just seeing where we go, and just also seeing where our characters are, what our characters are, and who we are, and how that's evolved as well.
It's funny you mention that, because I think you posted one recently from early.
I did. That was the first one I ever posted,
and
ever.
That that was my first thought. I was like, oh, these are the
older ones in the bottle shop.
They're not quite, the characters aren't as...
No, because we were younger then too. We didn't really work it out. So we shot like half an hour of material years ago. And then we shopped it around and it got nowhere as a pilot. And so we just had all this footage. And then just when the world ended, I was just going over the footage and I was like, man, I could cut at least 10 of these up, maybe 8, and turn them into 1 minute little standalone sketches, And I'll post them, and I hit Heggie up and just went, mate, do you mind if I just chuck these up? Let's just see how they go. And it just really resonated with people, and they loved it. And then I chucked it up on TikTok and thought nothing of it. I never had a TikTok account, nothing. I just started with 0 followers and just threw that one, the How to Swear at Customers, up on TikTok. And then I went to the beach. I went for a swim, got on with my day, didn't think anything of it, and then checked it the next, that night or whatever, and it just had gone ape shit. And I was sitting there going, what is going on? This is crazy. Okay, right. And then went, I better bloody get the others out there now. And then we started, those all went up onto TikTok, and they went bonkers. And then that's when we started shooting more, because we went, well, let's give them some more. And we didn't know what we were doing, and just shooting it on a phone to start with. And then we won a camera in a competition that I sent one to a competition. So we got a camera now, and then we got lights, and we started like, oh, we got more things here. Let's see if we can work out what we're doing. And then again, Facebook Reels had sort of started or whatever. And I went, oh, I'll chuck the old stuff up on Facebook Reels just because to put that there as well. Boom, that went nuts as well. And so on the weekend, I'd realised, I'd never actually put those old ones up on Instagram Reels. We only posted it on main feed. So I chucked it up on the Instagram Reels, boom, and now it's blown up again. So I'm going, oh Christ, we're just getting new people. Right. I thought everyone would have seen this one by now, because it's already had millions and millions of bloody views elsewhere,
It's so funny how that... You think once you've posted something that everyone that follows you sent, but you realise the way you scroll. It's like when you put stand-up up, you go, oh, that bit's done. And then you realise that even people that have seen it, I'll regularly see a stand-up bit I like, but then I haven't got time to watch that. So you just sort of through.
Yeah.
And then then you're sweating these numbers, or then you repost something, or it just catches later.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of videos that just...
Same here, the catch later. It's weird too. You go, oh, that was dog shit.
Yeah.
I had a piece of stand-up that I posted like a few months ago for that. It was a clip from my Just for Laughs clip. And I didn't even think it was really the funniest bit. It was just the bit that they sent me to post on socials. And I just went, oh yeah, okay, I posted it up there. And it just didn't do anything for a couple of days. And then it just blew up. And it's got like, you know, over 1 million views and stuff. And I just went, what is this about? Who are you? How did you even like this? But I think it was also because it pissed a lot of people off because it was about daycare. So you had a lot of people hate watching it and then commenting and just giving me shit about it. I'm like, mate, it's a joke. Calm down.
It's so funny. The algorithm loves hate.
I know. Well, they love it if it's just people are commenting. They go, the algorithm thinks it's popular, or it's, you know, it's like, oh, well, here, keep it going, keep it going.
We had that with some of our old cricket videos from our cricket show. We'd put them up, and then still, like if I log into Facebook and I bring up that page, you still get notifications. But it's like, because it'll kick off, you know, between like, you know, people in India commenting, and then so many of them have devolved into arguments between an Indian and a Pakistani bloke just arguing about who's a bigger cheat, or who's more, like which board's more corrupt. And I'm like, this is nothing to do with the video of that Hillcrest. Whatever.
Yeah, commenters are funny. I write back to them. I really like it. It's a really fun thing to do. I never thought that I'd get into this sort of thing. And it was more because my girlfriend was just encouraging me like to do it. She's like, yeah, you just make some content, just put it out there. And I was really apprehensive about it. Because for some reason I just didn't want to make an ass of myself. And I think it might have been flow over from still the Stand Up Australia days. I didn't want to put anything up that was like half-baked or whatever. And she's like, man, there's so much shit on the internet. Like, just put it up and just see what happens. And I was like, all right. And now, you know, like I said, it's built up a pretty good community. And I write back to them. Heggie doesn't. At all. Like if someone complains, he'll just post the link to his complaints department, which I love. Or he'll give him stick back, just going, yeah, well, you know, there was someone that posted something the other day. And Heggie's whole thing is, mate, you know, it's free. So go fuck yourself. You know, and is there anything else you want for free?
Also, you've got the entire internet.
I've said that. I say that. If someone says I don't like this,
watch it.
Yeah, I've said it to multiple people. I just say the internet's a really big place. I hope you find what you're looking for on there. And usually, more often than not, those people will then write back and go, oh yeah, nah, cool man, love your work, it's all good, don't worry. Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well, yeah, why did you have to do that?
They're venting in a moment and they don't ever actually think there's someone on the other end of that comment
This
section.
human being, which is why I was like, if I write back, we'll start a community, we can get some nice we can get rid of the fuckheads. You know, you can weed them out. And also you get people standing up for you as well. And it kind of feels like, okay, this is a thing for botload people. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. So hopefully we can get to do more. Like I want to do, like I said, we'll just do seasons and then try and get it into an actual bottle shop or something that looks like one.
Oh, so if anyone out there's got a bottle shop,
that'd be fantastic.
Reach out.
Can we please use your bottle shop? I don't know why I haven't reached out to any other people who do own bottle shops. I should do that. I haven't done that. Can we have your bottle shop, please? I know we'll have to shoot in shitty hours. That's how we shot it last time, by the way. We had to shoot after they'd closed, between closing hours. So we had like between 11 and 6 a.m, I think it was. So it was a dog shit time to shoot anything.
Fun overnight shoots.
Mate, yeah, it's exhausting. I had to headline the Comedy Store first and then drive over to Balmain to do this thing. But if we can have your bottle shop, I'd love your bottle shop, please. That'd be great.
Excellent. Mate, where can people find you online, find all your gear?
I am Cam Knight is the Instagram. I am Cam Knight is the TikTok. There's Cam Knight Comedy on Facebook. It's not hard. Yeah. And then is that it? Yeah. There's a website. Don't worry about it.
All right. Check it out.
Does anyone use websites?
I've even thinking of taking it out of my link tree.
I don't think it's necessary anymore. I feel
it's
like
so not up to date.
Mine sucks. I know. Mine looks like I just pieced it together in the 90s. Yeah. And it's a little bit embarrassing. I should just chuck Frogger on there.
Yeah, exactly. Link to a game. Brought to you by Cam Knight. Frogger.
That's it.
Excellent. Mate, thanks so much for doing this.
No worries, man.
Cheers.
Cool.